Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Music should be coming up shortly. It just rolled into a new. Fantastic. And Stream PC still appears to be limping along. The parts for the other PC didn't all arrive until, well, the last of the crucial parts arrived last night. So I can start building it either today or tomorrow sometime. So a lot of the parts have been arriving at different intervals. So there was a box full of most of the innards that showed up. There was like a motherboard and CPU, a liquid cooler, some RAM, and an SSD. And then I got another, there's a case and a power supply, and they showed up at separate intervals. The case ended up showing up at like 9 p.m. last night, and it was like the most crucial part. You like need it to get started. So I didn't want to get half started on it at like the middle of the night and get tired. And anyway, I don't like working on things like that late at night. I think it's a bad idea because you make mistakes. Anyway, sorry about that. Welcome everyone to the Damn Challenge. If you're new here, my name is Mac. If you're old here, welcome back. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is the stunning map-making utility you see in front of you. It is available on Steam. We offer a demo that you can try it out and test drive Dungeon Alchemist on your system, see if it's worth your time and an investment. Today's stream, though, is a focus on a bi-weekly map-making contest we host called the Damn Challenge. So every 2 weeks, we host this stream to showcase the entries from the current Damn Challenge, which was called Fairy Tale, which was the theme. And we had 10 entries. A lot of very interesting, very cool, and mind-bending entries. I just want to say I was very impressed by everyone's entries. But throughout the stream, we're going to be showcasing those. The first one is, of course, the winning entry. So congratulations, Highland Lass, on your stunning build. I really was impressed by it. I don't know if she's here yet, but she'll probably drift in later. That being said, we'll go into this map in a moment. I just want to say throughout the stream, if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions related to Dungeon Alchemist, please let me know. The stream is hosted in an AMA format, which means ask me anything. As long as it's a Dungeon Alchemist related inquiry, I will do my best to provide you real-time guidance, assistance, and even take notes on your feedback and suggestion. We do have a lot of entries to cover today, so we're going to try our best to stay on track, though, and give each map their due diligence. Highland Lass is so creative. I'm just going to say this map was really, really interesting. Yeah, at first you think the map isn't that impressive. When you open it, you're like, oh, but it's actually got a lot of secrets. If you just look at the top layering, right, it's kind of just a basic, simple map. But this map has a lot of depth to it, if you will, where there's not only like a series of like catacombs and secret tunnels and ladders to get to and from this area, but also there are, secret doors and passages that lead into this underground sort of like underwater arboretum where it's kind of like I don't know, like you can see here there's clearly swimming fish and stuff. Quite impressive, to say the least. I was very, very, very impressed by this map. And I just got to say, congratulations, Highland Lass. But I think it's what's it's got like this more than meets the eye appeal. My first pass on it, I was like, wait, there's not much to it. But then I was looking at the pictures for the entry, and I was like, there is more to it. And then I went and looked underground. I often forget sometimes to go underground because it's such a new aspect of DA. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I think we'll try and explore some of this in first person the best we can. I got lost in it a couple of times, but like I said, I'll do my best to kind of navigate this labyrinthian space. Yeah, the light is really what sells it. It just feels like a lovely bioluminescent underwater like cave, system. Maybe links to like a sea like outlet, like an opening somewhere, but this like someone built like this intricate, lovely, manor underwater. I love the use of the greenhouse, because it's got the glass, right? And then she went through and put the cupolas in by hand because the roofing would normally just be solid. So this was a really great approach. It would just be like a flat metal instead of like an actual fun cover like this. Pretty fun map though. Let's go to the top. And then we'll pop a token in. Blue Mage, how you doing, by the way? Chim, how are you? And Random Ladybird, how have you been? Let's hear how everyone's doing, in fact. Fill me in, y'all. Lalandra, Gore. Love to catch up with you all, see what you're up to. Hey, Centimar. I hope that information earlier helped a little bit. Uh-oh. Let me out of here. There we go. Been up to, my friend? I appreciate all of the assets you share on the workshop, by the way. You got a bad cold that set you back a couple of weeks. Oh my goodness. Hope you're feeling better, or on the mend at least. Centimar, what you been up to lately? Feel like we haven't chatted in a while. There's the secret. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to navigate it. I got lost in it a couple of times, but the catacombs are pretty neat. Little bit unnerving, right? Then, oh, little secret over here you can open up if you're clever. Given some like Diablo kind of, vibes a little bit, other than the first person view. Thanksgiving up in Canada, that's awesome. Happy holidays to you, my friend. Honestly, that sounds amazing. I love me a Thanksgiving meal. Who doesn't, right? You know what? I just noticed that my stream feed crashed. I'm going to refresh that. Give me just 1 second, okay? Because I want to make sure everyone is like able to be seen and heard. And my TikTok. What is going on today? Okay, TikTok, Steam, Twitch. We've got you all. Jim, I'm glad to hear it. Honestly, that makes me happy because, like, I know that life can be rough sometimes and comes at you fast, and it's nice to just be able to savor it from time to time and enjoy yourself. So be able to savor the good parts at least. So what are the typical foods that you eat at a Thanksgiving in Canada? I'd love to hear about it. Lilandra, this map in first person is a real treat, so I hope you enjoy it. Random Ladybird, this cold, are you starting to feel better? at least? Like, are you like on the mend for the most part? Because that's like always terrifying when you get a little sick and it like, or not a little sick, but really sick and it messes you up for a while. Okay, this part here I got a little stuck, I know, so I had to jump over. But other than that, like, remember this is technically underwater. Like a boat over there or something. Feels like it's like a aquarium, reverse aquarium. The fish watch you. That view is pretty cool. I wanted to do a picture of this, like where you could see through the glass, but so much of it was cut off. Like, I wish there was like a way to get like just a little bit wider view. There's sweet potato souffle. Nice. That sounds delicious, actually. Cool. So your Thanksgiving feast is pretty much in parody with what you would expect in a like an American Thanksgiving. I always was curious, you know. You know, there is an elevator item, but it isn't actually animated, Blue Mage. But you could just put one on each level and, you know. Hey, Highland Lass, and by the way, congratulations on your win of the damn challenge. We're going through your map right now, obviously. Enjoying the view. This would have been a nice picture, but then the bars. Ah, I love this like view. I wish there was just a plain glass panel, right? Like instead of like the bars in the middle. Just like an alternating option. It's nothing you did wrong. That's something we should offer. But yeah, can we get, you know, a big congratulations to Highland Lass on her amazing work with this map? Bobbing along on the bottom of the beautiful briny sea. What a chance to get to Better Peak. I really like this area here. Well, that's awesome. Trying to remember. How to get over that area. I'm sure they'll forgive you. Sometimes it happens, we forget. That said, shame on you too. Shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. Ah, no, don't fall. No! There we go. Count it. that's where the wisteria is. Now, Blue Mage. I really like this room. I don't think I found it on my first pass. Should have taken a picture of this. Very cool. How long do you think you spent on the map overall? Like how many hours? You said you did it while you were watching the stream, so that's impressive. Goodness. So I've got D&D tomorrow. Very excited for that. So hopefully I'll be able to fill you all in on Monday. And I have been totally obsessed with the new Battlefield for like the last 24 hours. It's kept me sane because my stream computer has been an absolute nightmare. And then waiting for all the hardware to show up. No joke. The case showed up at like 9:30 last night. And I was already exhausted and I'd been doing stuff around the house, like cleaning, and grabbed a few games of Battlefield, obviously. But I just like, by then I was so dead tired. I was like, I cannot build a PC and do it successfully when I'm this tired. So hoping to work on it a little bit after stream today and possibly before or after D&D tomorrow. New Battlefield just came out yesterday. Battlefield 6. Yeah, those new thrones are awesome, Asmodeus. Thank you so much for sharing them. They're really unique and interesting. Sorry, I'm checking all the chat feeds here. This view is stunning. I really like peeking out too in some areas. Sorry for the yawning, y'all. I decided to not drink any coffee today. You know, Ranger and 5e would be a bit better if you could change your, like, the thing you hunt, like your preferred whatever it is. You know what I mean? You pick one, like when you're barely starting the game, you have no idea what you're getting into. You could pick undead and not even see one undead for like many sessions. It's whatever it is. I can't remember it. Whatever it is. I've never really played a Ranger. I just know a couple people played them and they had that thing. So if you could change that like on a short rest, like how a wizard can change out their prepared spells, that would be cool. I think that would be a little bit more beneficial to a Ranger. Favored foe, that's the word. Thank you so much. I was stumbling over that. I appreciate you, Random Ladybird. Hey, look at these Nemos and Dories and Gills. But don't you think if you could change your favored foe on a long rest, that would make like 5e Ranger a little bit more practical? Yeah, it's true. They do kind of get outshined in some ways, for sure. I feel like I heard the new Monk is pretty decent. Like it finally allows it to really shine. What are y'all's thoughts on that? The new Monk class in 2025. For anyone who's played it or checked it out. You know, another reason I like this map so much, Highland Lass, it gave me really big, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea vibes. I really love the old Disney classic, like live action 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And yeah, it's pretty good. Like, this just kind of gave that vibe where you could just look out from your like metal structure and see. Oh, it is quite frightening. The part with the squid, if I recall, was quite terrifying to me as a child. Didn't you add those to the workshop, Random Ladybird, those particular fish? It is a Douglas. Is it Kirk Douglas that's in that one? I just know there's several generations of Douglases that act, so. Yeah, he was really young in the show. And he's like a whaler that they brought on. Got a whale of a tale to tell you, lads, a whale of a tale or two. It'd be terrible. Well, yeah, especially because they were doing an undersea funeral at the time. So it's kind of like, what are they doing? So, like, they basically just bury them there in a way that, like, they give back to the sea. Man, I do think Nemo was, like, a visionary in a way, though. It's really too bad he was like going after civilians, you know, because that really just made him like an awful person. But had he like, you know, he had like, first off, the Nautilus is a brilliant piece of technology for the era. Did it come out in 1954? Man, I love some of those old Disney films because like my grandparents used to let me like make me watch them basically when I'd be over there staying at their home. So we'd be watching, you know, like shoot, I'm trying to think. Oh, like Blackbeard's Ghost was one I really enjoyed. No, I'm trying to say like he was very, as far as like his mind when it comes to like building and engineering, I think he was very, very, very visionary. Now, granted, when it came to his ideas about like humanity and how to solve it and like the greater problems of humanity, that was an issue. I think that, you know, his farming underwater, you know, exploring and mapping underwater channels, like stuff like that was like, I don't know. I think Jules Verne, like the writer particularly, was like way ahead of his time. And so when you put Nemo in that, like, you know, that little pocket as well, is like, oh, Nemo was doing some crazy brilliant stuff for his era. Bad guy from Spy Who Loved Me. You know, often, like, it's crazy how some of the villains, like, some of them you're like, wait, I kind of want to agree with them. Like, when you look at, like, for instance, Poison Ivy in, like, Batman, like, she just wanted to, like, get rid of global warming and, like, stop corporations from cutting down forests, and you know what I mean? Like, ultimately, she was just kind of like an eco warrior who was doing some crazy, you know, beyond the, you know what I mean? Like, at the base of it, she just really wanted things better, but she's going about it the wrong way, right? Like, I'm not saying they're amazing people, but I think I love the writing of them as like fictional characters. I think they're an interesting kind of character. You know what I mean? Someone who's seen as the bad guy, even though they're really just like not nearly as bad as the people they're going after or the things they're trying to change. Sorry, that was a weird explanation. Yeah, anti-hero, that's it. I don't know, I like... I don't know. I can have a good appreciation for a well-written villain, you know what I mean, or an anti-hero. Yeah, no, they have great ideas, but then they kind of applied them incorrectly or poorly, right? I think a lot of people with really great ideas too and end up getting like kind of delusions of grandeur too. Like for instance, Nemo essentially was running a cult. So all the people around him loyally served him, which they're like his soldiers who'd been with him for years, but they kind of revered him at a cult like status. You know what I mean? And so essentially they were following his orders and doing whatever he said, whether it was like, you know, a bad order or not. Hey, Watchtower, what up? How you doing, bud? What's a good example of that, Chim? Trying to think of one offhand. You know what? I am just mesmerized by this map, Highland Lass. Thank you so much for sharing it. You know what? Mario Party is a good vibe. I don't blame you. Man, I love that game, but also you know, hey TikTok, I see your message over there. Give me 1 second. SOHL, give me one moment. But it also can end friendships and split up families. It's like one of those games that it's either amazing or like really bad. Megamind's a great example, Chim. Actually, yeah, that's a good one. So, Fog of War will likely be something that's applied to Dungeon Alchemist after we leave early access, and it'll likely be part of like a... So how do I explain this? So Dungeon Alchemist is first and foremost a map making tool and an immersion utility, right? It allows you to take beautiful screenshots and videos of your maps at different angles, such as first person, and also export it for your medium of choice, whether it's print, online, virtual tabletop, TV tabletop, etc. Many of you know that and understand that. Now, Dungeon Alchemist will likely never be a virtual tabletop as well by itself on an all-in-one. Mainly because when you start packing in all these features, you get feature creep and things don't work as good as you would like them to. What will happen is likely there'll be a standalone tool that is developed in parity with Dungeon Alchemist and released after we leave early access. So something that would be a virtual tabletop that pairs, you know, very well with Dungeon Alchemist and gets the most use out of its maps, effects, and so on. That would give you the ability to, you know, possibly investigate those maps in first person or 3D in the virtual tabletop. Who knows? But that's where things like Fog of War, dice rolling, possibly, etc., would be facilitated. That would be after we leave early access, though. Yeah, no worries, no worries. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Honestly, this space right here is so cool. Should have got a picture of this too. Goodness. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Island Last, congratulations again. I will reach out to you before Monday afternoon to send you your gift card. Your $10 Hero Forge gift card for winning the Fairy Tale Dam Challenge. Remember, everyone, we got 9 more entries to take a look at, so we've got a lot of maps to check out today. So if you're interested in seeing some of these amazing fairy tale themed maps, definitely stick around. A lot of them could be very useful for your campaigns or even just inspiration for your own builds. Again, congratulations, Highland Lass, and let's all congratulate her because, like I like to say, we can't all win, but we can all be winners. So let's give her a pat on the back, and then we'll move on to the next map. Oh, there were so many amazing entries. Honestly, some of them were really, really clever. Okay, so at first glance of your map, okay, I'm not gonna lie, At first glance, I thought this was your entry. But then I saw the two, and I remembered looking at the preview image of it, right? That was like so much more. I'm like, where is this? It must be underground. So I immediately just started going down, and I was as soon as I saw this, you know, at first glance, I was like, oh, that's not much going on at the top. I was thinking maybe there was some decor inside. But once I got down here, I just completely gasped. Okay. Like audibly gasped. First off, the structure that you've designed here, the underwater environment, the, you know, the lighting, it's amazing. Okay. It's well done. You did a great job. Congratulations are in order, and it's well deserved. Okay. Now, let's open up the next map. We're going to just go from left to right, top to bottom. They're great. And I noticed you put in the cupolas by hand, which would have been a pain, I'm sure. Like all these squares overlapping them and stuff. I'm sure a lot of them would snap into place, but some of them probably didn't. You at least got to get them at the right size and height manually, right? Okay, so this one is random ladybirds. And I really thought this was interesting because it shows 3 different fairy tales, okay? I know, it's a bummer, huh? Highland Lass, that is a bummer that there's no iron roofs with glass to see through. So you've got, first off, the 3 little pigs, which you see their different houses, right? You've got the big bad wolf, and the house made out of straw, thatch, the house made out of wood, and the house made out of brick. Here you've got the 3 billy goats and the troll under the bridge. So is that the billy goat's gruff or whatever? And then here you have the 3 little bears. So you've got their porridge, one too hot, one too cold, one just right. You have Goldilocks and the 3 bears. The bed's too soft. This one's too hard. One's just right. Really love the throwback to the, you know, the old fairy tales, fables, the traditionals. You know, the old school stuff we all grew up on. And I never noticed how many of them use 3s. You know what I never understood about the 3 bears? I guess nowadays it does kind of make sense to me. But as a kid, I was like, why does the mom and dad have separate rooms, separate beds? I've heard of plenty of, you know, modern relationships where people don't share a bed because some people, you know, have different sleep schedules. Like one works late night and one works days. So they don't want to mess each other's sleep schedules up. Or some of them are like, there would be a person who is too wild in bed at night, like they're a bed hog or they thrash. There's plenty of people who, you know, have very, you know, perfectly healthy relationships who don't share a bedroom or a bed at night. But I always just wondered about the bears because I was like, wait, my mom and dad, they have their bed. And then it would be like, oh, if it was a brother or sister or somebody, you know, but no, the kid, the mom, and the dad. So that was just a weird logic. But I guess they were just way ahead of their time. The 3 shells? Oh, gosh. He doesn't know about the shells? This guy doesn't know about the shells. Good old Demolition Man. Oh no. Honestly, 3 Little Pigs, how could they own that? That's like older than dirt. Been around for like hundreds of years. Asmodeus, you okay? How is that possible? Sorry, you posted it twice, so I was just wanting to make sure. How is that possible? That's like saying D&D owns the copyright to Dragon. Disney already owns everything. Interesting. 1840, wouldn't that be out of copyright by now, actually? Because isn't like Steamboat Willie now just leaving copyright protection, and that's like 100 years old? I mean, they just can't, because all that stuff is like pigs, wolves. You can't own a copyright to those concepts because they're just a natural thing. That makes no sense to me. That's crazy. Even still. Maybe to the particular rendition they made, or a particular like book or animation they made, those would be in copyright, not the actual story. Because there's one thing Disney likes to do. They like to take old stories and then make a new version of it. Stories that are way out of copyright protection, Creative Commons, you know, whatever. And they'll, you know, like Aladdin and all that stuff, Snow White, Cinderella, all of those are existing stories that were books well before then. So, yeah. Anyway. Nerdvana Gaming, welcome, welcome. I just got Alchemist and I'm running my first in-person game tonight. How do I make their field of view limited for NPC? So I will say this, Dungeon Alchemist isn't really meant for running games. It's more for making your maps for your games. You're playing in person. Tell me more about that, Nerdvana. Are you playing with like printed maps, TV, or maybe a projector tabletop? Like what's your plans there? The more I know about your setup and how you plan to run it, the more advice I can give. So you have a projector that you put down on your tabletop. Gotcha. That's pretty cool. I've been seeing some ads for some new projectors that are like small little cylinder guys that you can mount like on a stand or hang on the ceiling. That'd be pretty fun. Would be fun. It is, in fact, Fairy Tale Maps, Mosey Poe. Welcome back. How are you? So, sorry, we're multi-streaming on like 6 different platforms right now. So we're live on Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Steam. So if I'm talking to someone, you don't see them chatting, that's why. Okay, so essentially you got a projector tabletop and you want to limit the field of view your players can see. Is that what you're trying to do? So there's 2 methods of thought that you can go with this. Okay, so you can attempt to run the game directly within Dungeon Alchemist. And you have the grid, which you can activate with Alt-G, or under the View menu, you can see the grid, or under the Settings menu, you can see grid settings that are way more advanced, such as the color, whether it's square or hex, the overall transparency, etc. Now, you can set the grid on top of everything, or it'll be under objects. Now, moving on from that, if you have this set up with a TV or projector tabletop, you can also hide the UI. So it's essentially a play space. How I would limit my player's ability to see something. With a projector, you can't use a sheet because it'll project on the sheet. So you would probably want to limit the area they can see to a certain space. That, or you'd want to pair the map with a virtual tabletop software, such as like Foundry or Fantasy Grounds, or above VTT, Roll20, etc. And they essentially allow you to take the Dungeon Alchemist map, import the map into it, and those tools have Fog of War. There are ways to set a party token where everyone has shared vision essentially. So whatever, you know, one of them sees, they all kind of see. That is kind of a way to do it, but it requires, you know, another piece of software and usually a module or two or a plugin to make it work correctly. Because virtual tabletops, they usually have a lot of built-in features, but they also are supplemented by add-ons, extensions, plugins, modules that make them even more fully functional. So if you want to keep enemies off screen, you can either zoom in and just kind of keep them out of view until your players are kind of more in that area, and then you move around with the arrow keys. Alternatively, there is kind of one way to do it, but if you're running it off a laptop, it may not be ideal. Inside of our menu here under effects, there is a smoke, a black smoke. You can take the black smoke and kind of cover areas with it, right? And it makes like a primitive fog of war. Keep in mind, this is heavy on your resources. Takes a lot out of your computer to run this because it's an animated smoke, right? And then you can clear it by revealing a little bit at a time by erasing it as they see it, right? This is one way to do it, but they'll see all this that you're doing, right? All of the, you know, clearing it. The other thing is you can use what's called an abstract object. So they have these objects in the object panel right here under this that looks like that little infinite triangle there, the Mobius triangle. And these green objects, you can insert custom images into them, right? There's some that are just these like squares. These are ideal. If you disable collisions, you can raise this and oversize it to cover entire regions. And you can insert whatever you want into it as an image. I actually have like a solid black image. This works great. Alternatively, you could, you know, essentially take a bunch of these and cover a whole area with it. Does that make sense? Why that's rotating. So something like this is probably the best way to go because you can raise it up, cover entire regions, and you can basically just fill in whatever shapes you want to kind of cover areas. Much easier to do because you can just delete this once they kind of are here. They probably see most of this. Boom. But then you could cover like back here with another one and kind of reveal them in sections. Okay. Let's turn off the grid here. Oh, Nerdvana, are you on our Discord by chance? Not to shamelessly promote it, but one of our mods on Twitch is actually pointing out that we have a thread on our Discord that kind of goes in depth with field of view and how to take, or fog of war, I mean, and abstracts and to get the most out of it. If you could go to our profile, there's the link to our website. You can only really have, I can't share a link in chat on TikTok, even though it's my own channel. Weird, right? But if you go to our website, at the bottom or top, you can find our Discord as well. There's links to our social media and our Discord. I encourage you to join, and we can direct you towards, you know, the correct documentation and information. But anyway, get back to work. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate the question, and I hope that helps you out a little bit. You know, I had a book like that too that had all three of these in them. Okay, now we're gonna go on to the next map. Unfortunately, I would love to stay here more and explore, but we got to keep moving because we got a lot of maps to showcase. Love the build there, Random Ladybird. Again, the you know, those fables, the fairy tales, a very cherished part of my childhood as well. My grandmother, I believe, read them to me all the time, and then we had a book that had them in it, so I would read them. My mom would read them to me. You know, whoever, a babysitter, anyone. Moving on to the next one. This one's from Maytag Man. It's called An Open Book. Between two worlds unfolds an odd story. Decide which one to listen to. Created using only individual assets. No DA rooms. No. So I love the idea of a book having a whole world in it, or like a pocket dimension that, you know, maybe is just what is on that page of information, right? You often see this concept in, like, you know, going into like a painting world, or, you know, a book that opens up and you can go inside of it. The term I use for using an asset outside of its intended use is cram. Creative asset misuse. What's wrong, Watchtower? Because you also did a book. I honestly felt yours was really cool too. Just because two people had a similar vein of thought doesn't mean it's not clever or creative. If that was the case, the music industry and movie industry and book industry would have died a long time ago. We'll give your map its due diligence and time and its moment to shine in a bit. But I do think yours was very unique and creative on its own, so nothing to be ashamed of. That being said, I really love what Maytag Man did here. You have a very interesting layout with objects using, you know, the houses that were uploaded by Asmodeus to the workshop some time ago, which are a great way to save on, you know, map size and shrink them down, but still get a lot of detail. Move in here. You've got like a whole little village, little tiny town with animated tokens walking around. I really love the whole landscape here. I think they did a great job. Try and like, yeah, these are all placed in there one at a time. There's dozens of them. Yeah, there were several maps that had similar ideas, but they were very creative and unique in their own right. I mean, fairy tale, it's kind of like a kind of a focused theme. I'd imagine that several people either would have focused on fairy tales or a similar concept. But yeah, this is like, oh, I didn't notice the water back here. And all the coffins leaking out. That's morbid, but also cool. Take a look at Castle Grayskull over here. Doesn't it remind you kind of that like vibe? That dragon? We got a wingling dragon. So, Law of the Jungle. This map was built using essentially all assets, right? So, instead of using the room tool, they used the object tool exclusively. They disabled collisions and then they put out objects and stack them on top of each other. When collisions are disabled, you can scale objects far above or below their normal constraints. You can mix and match them close together and overlap them much closer than you normally would be able to. And lastly, you can raise and lower objects on the z-axis when collisions are disabled. So essentially, this book, they just took one that I believe is called the Ledger. There's a book in here. Anyway, this one. This book here, just scaled it up. Notice all the flaps and stuff. Very similar there. And then they just built a tiny little world on each of them, kind of like a diorama of just a slather of objects. It's an interesting concept. Definitely takes more time than generating a room, but it's possible to do. There's a lot of rocks in here. Notice, and there's some flames. Oh, they put a flame book in there. That's clever. But yeah, there's little things all throughout this that you can move, little objects, and it just kind of peels apart slowly. On this side, some of the terrain is actually the regular terrain, just peering through the book. So they raised it up so it kind of overlapped and looked like the terrain was popping out of the book, which is a very clever design. Same a little bit there. Just a lot of objects, mostly objects from the workshop, especially these houses. That's not something you could just do this size, this scale. Like if you turn on the grid here, these are tiny, tiny, tiny for how big they look. Like a 1 square house there. 5 feet by 5 feet. Anyway, definitely some forced perspective at play here. It's a very, very clever build. Unfortunately, we got to move on to the next one. Thank you again, Maytag Man, for sharing this one. And I noticed they put little QR code that probably links to the Team Workshop page. Look at the pig. Where is the pig at? Oh. What is the pig doing? Colossal Senpai, are you Maytag Man? I like the map. I think it's really clever. What's the pig up to? No good, it seems like. Something nefarious. This next map is by Geronimo. It's called A Little Mermaid Grotto. So another underwater map. I hope you caught when we were hanging out, checking out your map. Unfortunately, we just had to move on because we got a lot of maps left and not that much time. So, but I do appreciate the work you put into it. How long did it take you to make your map, Maytag Man? Also, I think the idea very clever. I love the detritus here. Looks very much, you know, under the sea vibes. Or maybe part of your world. Oh wait, that's about being out of the water. We're gonna do the reverse. We're under the sea. But yeah, this reminds me of when she's singing about all of her treasures. You want thingamabobs? I've got 20. She just can't be happy with her collection. What are they called again? Oh yeah, feet. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they play all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be. Definitely gives Little Mermaid vibes, top to bottom. I need Flounder in here. I think it, you know, Geronimo really killed it here. But I mean, okay. So my mom was big on me like learning to sing as a kid. I don't sing good anymore. After I like, you know, hit puberty and just years of not really singing normally. But when I was a kid, I was like entered in like talent shows and singing contests and dancing contests all the time. She had me in dancing classes and singing classes and anytime I could be in them. But she essentially, any Disney film would be on like all the time and she'd want me to sing to it. And this was one she'd play on repeat all the time. But no joke, I won a talent show singing Under the Sea. Is that lettuce on the ground? I mean, probably. Looking around. We got lots of coral. Coral! It does. I mean, you don't need the water to feel submerged, right? It's the lighting that really sells it, which is fine. We got 20 thingamabobs over here and a vape of some sort. I had a really weird childhood. But I mean, and the thing is I kind of grew out of singing as I grew older, and my mom didn't like want to push it because she was afraid I'd stop. And then she bought me a guitar one year, and I thought, why would she get me a guitar? She didn't want me like doing rock music or anything, but I think she just wanted me to be singing still. And then I played guitar for like a decade straight. So it worked. Scammed me. I pretty much knew every Disney movie song by heart as a child. A lot of them still to this day. Like a crazy amount. Honestly, like I don't mind telling my embarrassing past because like it's a relating experience. We all have parents who want us to do things, or we're like, you know, maybe some parents are overzealous and some like maybe had plans for you, your career and stuff. My mom, I guess, wanted me to be an entertainer, like to be in movies and to sing or be a singer or something. I don't know, for her whole grand design, but it didn't really pan out. I guess I'm still kind of an entertainer to a degree. But yeah, I won multiple talent shows. One of them, I sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," like a really simple song, right? Are you not entertained? Yeah, that's what I said. Highland Lass, I am, I guess, an entertainer to an extent now still. Or it's a part of what I do, but I wouldn't say that's all I do. You know what I mean? It's beautiful in here. Geronimo did a great job, and he definitely captured that like underwater grotto from Little Mermaid vibe. Definitely right out of the movie. Like it has that feel. Um Honestly, I do want to get back into projects now that the weather's like so much more abiding. It's so much cooler here in Vegas, and the problem is I did all my like biggest projects I needed to do, and I need to come up with some other ones. I have a few things I need to fix around the house, and one big project I want to take on soon is I want to design a like cabinet fixture for all of my 3D printers and my laser cutter and vinyl plotter, so they all like kind of have their own place, and then they're sealed off and it has ventilation running out the window and stuff, so it's more like safe. Because when you're printing 3D printing with plastics or doing resin printing, it releases, you know, toxic fumes into your home, and so you got to make sure you have proper ventilation and filtration. Oh my gosh, I ordered my costume stuff. It should be here soon. Once it gets here, we'll be getting some costume streams as we go through the holidays. Go on to the next map. Geronimo, fantastic build. I don't know if you're here or not, but very, very, very stunning and great design. Fable Farm. Here we go. This one's from Blue Mage. Okay. So we've got the goose that lays the golden eggs. Okay, I'm trying to remember what we've got here. I feel like I've heard a fable about a monkey and a dog, but I don't remember it. You got to fill me in on some of these fables. So here's the thing. I do remember in Stargate, they talk about a fable or a story with a monkey and a dog, but then they don't elaborate on it at all. I feel like that does happen. Yeah, that's this right here. Very clever use of the stone assets. A lot of them you laid down there, man. Holy cow. So we got the Jack and the Beanstalk over here, right? Oh, and it looks like you've got the 3 bears. Unfortunately, they've seen better times. Like some glass slippers. And maybe some ruby slippers. And, yep, the Little Red Riding Hood's cloak and the woodsman's axe. And then a spinning wheel. Gotcha. So the Sleeping Beauty mythos, right? Rumpelstiltskin. Okay, there's 2 myths that use the spindle. But yeah, Rumpelstiltskin's one of them. That's right. All the hay here. We got the 3 pigs. The wolf is just watching them fatten themselves up. Oh, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I didn't even notice. Too funny. Very clever. What's the water wheel all about and the granary? You got a lot of them, and you obviously got the Billy Goat's gruff there. This one's the iteration with the troll on top of the bridge instead of under. I've read it both ways as well. Ooh, the 3 Norns. Do they use a spindle, though, or do they just have the thread? Doesn't Greek mythology also have the 3 whatever, they share an eye and they're blind otherwise, and then they can see the future, and then they weave thread with it? The Fates, right? So they have a similar mythos. Uh-oh, what do we got down here? Little secret area. Cellar. Anything hiding in here? One of the Fates has a loom, right? I thought they did. And that's the thread of fate, right? Honestly, I love your build. Mage, can I just tell you this? You often will, be like, oh no, I need an inspiration from these people, or I don't know why I even tried. You do such good work. Please don't get up in your head. Like, you make amazing maps. And not only that, you're getting better with each map. I see improvements in your design and your eye for detail and coming up with unique concepts. Okay? This is something I'd never really seen before. This is very cool. I almost wish we could make a brush that does this like automatically. The cellar's cool either way. Doesn't have to have anything hidden in it for me to enjoy it. So what's the story over here with the horse and the deer? Oh, the sword and the stone. I see that. American folk tales. Okay. So we got Paul Bunyan, clearly. And then John Henry. Okay. Was this supposed to be Pecos Bill? So I'm assuming you're going straight up Tall Tales. Princess and the Frog. I'm assuming this right here. Or the Frog Prince. Yep. Got it. So it's both a Little Mermaid and the Frog Prince. Got it. Bambi? Just kidding. I don't know what the deer is for. Just decor. The Ugly Duckling, right? So it is Bambi? Got it. Very cool. You know what you could say this is? Have any of you checked out Over the Garden Wall since I mentioned it a few weeks ago? Pinocchio? Puss in Boots. Yep, I see it. Another one you could have done was Hickory Dickory Dock. You could have done 3 mice on a clock. Something like that. Man, you got a lot of them packed in here, though. Or 3 blind mice would have been good, too. But you packed some... You, like, Shrek'd it up, man. You know how they got, like, all of the fairy tales in there? You know what I mean? Yes, the bears are rugs. That's straight up Shrekking it. Because they become... Later on, one of them is a rug. Like, okay, there's some, like, deep lore in Shrek where when the 3 bears are abducted during the first movie, Mama Bear is actually killed during her imprisonment and turned into a rug of Farquaad's. And then you see Baby Bear see the rug and he gets sad and, like, cries later. Or the dad, one or the other, is turned into a rug. Another cool thing you should check out in the woods. Okay, we'll go. Oh, what do we got here? Fox and the Hound. I'm a hound dog. Tortoise and the Hare. Not sure what that one is. Yeah, the Red Hood there. We discovered those earlier, but yeah, we've got the... Shoot, is that the One Ring? Got a little bit of everything in here. The red shoes are ruby slippers. What did I miss? Oh, the other corner? Oh, man. Oh, you got Snow White right there. The crystal coffin. And Hansel and Gretel, of course, with the candy house. Man, you had so many in here. I didn't even realize. You really packed them in. Ah! Poor children being force-fed pies and candy. Hansel. Very fun. Sadly, we need to move on. We got a lot of maps left and not a lot of time. Okay, this next one's by Sinister_XXX, and it's Fairy Tale Guildhall. Fairy Tail is an anime or manga. Well, it's a manga and an anime. Very big fan of this show, so I recognize this right off the bat. But it looks like they took the, you know, artist renderings and made a close representation of it in DA. I missed Winnie the Pooh. Oh no, sorry. But I did see a lot of them, and I knew a lot of them. I'm not sure what the monkey and the dog is about, though. Can you explain that one? So in the show Fairy Tail, it's like a world of magic, essentially, like basically a D&D type world where people have different abilities, but a lot of people are essentially casters, and some casters are more like they summon armor and weapons that are really powerful, and then other casters make, you know, cold magic, fire magic, electrical magic, and most people have like a focus. Some people are summoners that summon like entities from other realms. Some people's just their magic is used to like build stuff and craft things, while others are like adventurers. Anyway, just a little background on this world, if you're not familiar with the show. Goodness, that's actually really cool. They did a good job of this. Very close representation, considering there's not a whole lot of reference material. Granted, though, if I recall, the Fairy Tale Guild is right in the middle of a city, but then you would have to build like a whole city around it, so probably a good way to save some time. Hey, Polaris, welcome back. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have known that one. Sorry, I need to brush up on my my Japanese folklore. Oh, so cool. Yeah, how did they do that? Oh, I know how they did that. Okay. It's the tower that, like, oh my gosh, has the cannons. That's actually really cool. And it can, like, shrink. Or, oh my gosh, that's a huge. Get back in there. So cool. Hey, TikTok, thank you for all the likes. What do we got up in here? Ah, that's a study. Ooh. This is like the headmaster's study. What is his name? I feel like his name was like... Oh, it's Makarov. His name has Mac in it. Why wouldn't I have remembered that? Makarov. Makarov. You're right, Watchtower. That's exactly what it is. Markov. No, it's Makarov. That's what it is. It's like the gun, right? Or the Russian general or whatever. But, very cool. I actually really enjoyed this show for a while. It became kind of hard to watch because it wasn't like available on any one streaming service at the time because it was like split up. Ooh, the little guild hall bounties. This is the, oh, okay. So there's a part of the guild hall that's reserved for their like highest class wizards. They're S-class wizards, and they have bounties that are worth way more and way more dangerous. Yes, it is. Let's start thinking about a new challenge. I like this one a lot. They did a good job. Looks like we got some bedrooms. Go downstairs and see what they got in here. Ah, the main guild hall. So they have like, basically their guild hall is like basically a big tavern. It's like a Masonic lodge with some bedrooms and a big tavern and people everywhere. They just get really hammered and hang out with each other when they're not doing quests. Dude, that's cool. You've been a fan of it for a long time then? Who's your favorite character in the manga? Gosh, I'm having trouble remember his name. Is it Godjil or whatever? The Iron Dragon? Godjil is also my favorite too. He's really cool. He's kind of a butt early on, but he has a good redemption arc. Like he grows as a character. You know what I mean? Too funny. I also kind of enjoy Loxus a little bit too. Yeah, they're him and Juvia definitely, like, considering how they started off. Like, if she accepted him and, you know, like, forgave him, then yeah, it's cool. But the thing is like I get Loxus, he's vying for power and he's like in his prime and he sees Makarov is kind of on his way out. But dang, again, he had like good intentions, but went about it the wrong way. How are you going to win over a guild by just like attacking them all? Anyway, cool show, cool manga. Encourage y'all to check it out. This map is even cooler. Really great representation of the guild, considering, you know, there's not a whole lot of material to reference. Even's got the stage, the bar. Very cool. I just wish it was full of characters, but then that would make it very, very copyright unfriendly. Okay, next map. Very cool work on that one, by the way. We already looked at Highland Lass's map, so we're going to go to Into the Woods by Lilandra Blue. Going into the woods, you can find one of 3 witches. Oh, before I go... Oh, no. Oh my goodness. I love the yellow brick road, first off. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. I think Highland Lass was asking Blue Mage about that Japanese folktale, particularly. We represent but are legally distinct from the Lollipop Guild. Futurama for the win. Whoa. Really great job at like just putting all the branches and brambles to have like a collapsed home feel. Like the roof collapsed in or the home's been kind of falling into dire straits for some time. That probably took a long time to just get them all in there. And also, I want to know how some of you get roofs to glitch like this so frequently and then use it to your advantage. This one also looks great. Like, talk about making lemonade out of lemons. Probably had a roof bug out and was just like, go with it. Lilandra, are you here right now? I know you were here earlier. Fill us in on this. Ah, okay, I get it. Okay, 3 little pigs, but then it's all destroyed. This is the mayhem after the big bad wolf huffed and puffed. Gotcha. And then over here, you got a little Wizard of Oz Easter egg over here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's starting to smell so good in my house. So we're having roast for dinner tonight. And you know, with a roast, you got to get it cooking like early, right? So we're cooking it in a crock pot. So Mrs. Mac, she pan-seared the roast. We've been defrosting it for 2 days. Pan-seared the roast and then, you know, seasoned it and then cut up a bunch of potatoes and carrots, and I think we got some peas and some celery, some other veggies and stuff. Just so good. And I can smell it right now. It's making my stomach growl. Y'all a fan of a big roast? What we got hiding over here? Of course, you got a Hansel and Gretel too, don't you? Look at you guys and gals. So many people had similar thoughts, but did it so differently. This is fantastic. Hey, look at that. Her little secret lab. I love how many fairy tales we had some overlap with. Obviously, you're going to have some overlap because fairy tales, some of them are more popular than others, you know? Right over here. Did you originally have the house here? Okay, so wait. We've got Hansel and Gretel Witch. We got the Wicked Witch of the West, right? Here we go. Ah, okay. Rapunzel, right? Nice. I saw the tower base and I knew immediately. That's really cool. Honestly, could you imagine if you did a bunch of like the poles down at the bottom, right? And then do individual linkages to like 4 or 5 of them, and so it looked like a big strand of hair, like a big lock of hair coming down. Do that, like another one. You just keep doing it over and over again until it's like tons of them. She's already escaped? Ah, gotcha. She's made her getaway. Good for her. Good for her. I love it. This particularly right here, this is fantastic. Can I ask what the other pair of boots, though, in the woods is all about? Right, like right adjacent? There's like another path here somewhere. I swear I saw some just sitting on their own. Oh, you know why I saw them? Because this was like that. I am a silly. That's why. That's where the house went. The yellow brick road is great too. Really thematic. Great addition. I'm pretty sure it was Asmodeus that shared this one, right? On the workshop. Pretty sure. Great work on this, Lalandra. How long did you put into this map? Thanks, Asmodeus, for sharing that asset. Great use in this build. Looks very well done. At first, I thought you actually did this with our, like, room tool because of the shape, and then you just did, like, a yellow tile or something and maybe bordered it with something. But that's great. Great use of that community asset. 10 hours? Nice. Great work on this. Fantastic. We got 2 maps left. Have we put any thought into our next theme? Were there any suggestions yet, Atlam? No suggestion. Hit. You know, I was thinking it'd be fun to do like maybe castle or keep. Like one or the other. Because they're like a baseline, but then we get a lot of really cool ones from our community. They could be small or big. Castle is something I'd be interested in particularly. Because I'd love, now that we have multi-level and all these different angled rooms and shapes and stuff, to see what y'all could come up with. And there's already been some interesting ones being shared on the workshop. So I'm sure, you know, if we put like a lens on it for a couple of weeks, we'd get some really interesting ones. The camera's a little off. Been like that the whole time. I'm sorry. I'm up for castle. That's my vote. So we've got pit and 2 castles. Battleground could be cool. Warzone, battleground, similar topics. Battleground is a good suggestion. So far, we've got 3 suggestions on the board. Wondering. Ultimately, a lot of my themes since we've, dropped the update have been focused on trying to get us towards get us towards like showcasing roofing and multi-level, because there's so many cool features now. There are so many cool ways to show it off with different structures and the like. So something creepy castle, creepy keep. We could just do Halloween as a theme too, because it's a holiday, and then that would be done by the 24th, 25th, giving you about a week for your one-shots. A theme park or a circus might be tricky to build with the existing assets, but that is such a cool idea, Law of the Jungle. The bones are their money, and so are the worms. I know it's possible to do a circus. I'm just saying it's not as, straightforward. There are some circuses, quite a few actually, at least, that represent kind of the circus from that one campaign module. What is it? Goes to the Feywild. Okay, so cool, good to know. Let's try not to use the word spooky if we could avoid it. I know it's common and used a lot, but just so you all know, and I don't mean to be a downer, but it actually has a pretty like a racially charged history. So it's probably best to just not use it. Hey Arteris, how you doing? Horror, scary, creepy. There's a lot of different words we can use. Wonderful. You learn something new every day, Centimar. Macabre. I like that one. Haunted Castle is a good one, actually, because it blends the castle theme. Feel free to look into it. If you'd like to know, during World War II, German soldiers used it as a slur towards African American soldiers. And then it was brought home by World War II veterans who then continued using it. But it's got a bad history to it. So let's just, it's derived from a racial connotation. So if we could use it as a learning opportunity, and it's up to you to continue using it or not in your life. I just want you to be educated. Haunted is a good word. Haunted by itself has a possibility, for sure. We usually stick to 1 or 2 words, so that's a good one. I like to think that we can learn, educate ourselves and become better people as we understand things. This is brilliant, though. Wonderful job on this. Yeah, I do. You see, like the path it went through. It like it's carved its own path here, and just all of the stuff on top of it just dropped in. Lovely. I just love the house on top of him. You just got a corpse hiding under there. So can you write out all the themes that we've got right now in a list, Atlam? All the suggestions? Now this one, combination of using the room tool and also object. Very cool. Because the previous one was 100% objects, but this goes to show you can definitely do this with the room tool. I'm not 100% certain how you got terrain in here. You must be in... you're in the grasslands biome. Okay, you just made it really tiny. How big is this? I need to understand this. 7 by 9. Dang, that is a small map, bro. You killed it on the size there. Watchtower's got his little keep here, or maybe Dude, you did great. Like, it's awesome. I mean, you obviously expanded past the canvas here. Oh no, there it is underneath. Something's missing. What's missing? I just like that you see the lamp and like it's like scales it, right? You got this real size stuff. That dragon, was there supposed to be a dragon on the map? Did you not upload it after you made that adjustment? Or did you upload it prior to making that adjustment? That or the asset may have not loaded. So when you make a map, where is it? Oh, I can turn on invisible lights just to see them? Okay. It is indeed on. Not sure. There's supposed to be a dragon right here? Sorry, bud. I'm not sure what happened. That's a bummer. Okay, so let me look at the image here. I don't see it in this image that you have in the up. Oh, I see the shadow. Ah, did you have a shadow effect from like a lantern or something, like a magic lantern, or how did you get the effect on the wall? Tiny dragon in front of the light? Okay, hold up. Let me look. Goodness, I am the dragon. Oh, there it is. Oh, you know what it might be? Let me turn my graphics up to high. There it is. That's why. Nothing you did. Just my graphics were set to medium for the stream on Wednesday, because the office hour stream is all ran on my single computer instead of 2. We got a wingling dragon with his wings with consummate V's. Consummate V's. I said consummate. No strong bad fans here. Feel so old. So we got like a Sleeping Beauty archetype here, right? Or a Snow White type sitch. Frozen? Or is this Cinderella here? Just princess things. You just see the three and you think, you know, Cinderella and her stepsisters. Plus in the other one there was like a woman standing behind him. Like right here. It'd be the stepmother. Man, I feel like I had a very uniquely isolated childhood because like I just mentioned something that I thought like everybody knew about and no one mentioned it. So no one's heard of Homestar Runner or Strong Bad, let alone Trogdor. This little offering basket is so pretty. I love it. Great design. This should be a variant. Of course, there looks like there's non-stock objects in there. What year did you graduate from high school, Blue Mage? Oh, 03? So yeah, you graduated a year before me, so you definitely like I remember watching it like started watching it in like ninth grade, and then I watched it all through high school, and then a little bit after high school. Then kind of fell out of it, mainly because the guys that were doing it kind of stopped making cartoons regularly. Curse you, Kevin Grumbles! So the thing about strong bad emails is they were very unique. Like they okay. So the guys that made them, they're now making like TikToks and reels and stuff, and they're posting all of them, and other people are posting and sharing them. But they were unique because they had embedded like Easter eggs in them, and if you clicked all over the video while you were watching it, you could find hidden extra videos. So I don't know. It was kind of a fun, like unique experience for the time. Yeah, Gore, it makes sense that you wouldn't have been like on the up and up in that. Like youth culture, especially because we were like embracing the internet at the time, which at the time was more fun. A lot of millennials remember the internet as more like free, open, and like random and like wholesome. Nowadays, it's like very controlled and regulated, and like only like 4 or 5 websites as you get directed to. Search engines are awful. Everything's AI based. It's like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's changed a lot. The internet is drastically different than it used to be. Hope I don't make any of you feel old, but I'm sure when you were in school, like things like laptops and stuff were just starting to become like the normal thing in college. Because like cell phones were just barely hitting the market when I was like in like I mean they were around before then, but they were like not a common thing that every like family plans, for instance, stuff like that was just hitting the market in the late 90s, early 2000s. Man, I remember one of my cousins had a laptop for school, and she told me that that thing was like 10 grand at the time because it was like such an like a niche item to have for college in like the 90s. crazy to think how different things are. So they had a computer lab when I was in school, and then each teacher had a computer for grades, right? And then sometimes there was like extra computer labs for very specific functions or a computer class. In high school, they had like a computer lab in the library, a separate computer lab just for like typing, and one that was for like advanced computer stuff to learn about like, you know, everything about computers, programs, how to build computers, everything. But like, I mean, I remember when I was in elementary school, they only had like the computer lab and none of the teachers had computers. When I was in school, the things they had on trolleys were the TV or those overhead projectors that you could write on the like clear transparency. But if the teacher wheeled a TV into the room that day, you knew you were going to be watching something epic. Like Bill Nye or, I don't know, some Cosmos. Some of my teachers had old Apple computers in their classroom that were like ones from previous years that they just got to keep one, or maybe they were going to throw them away and they're like, does anyone want them? So they'd put them in their room as a spare computer for people to work on if they needed to do something, like if you didn't have a computer at home. Okay, let's start talking. Let's condense the ones that are multiple words. Pick one of the two and just stick with it for now. So castle or keep, let's just do like castle. Battleground, war zone, let's do battleground. Let's do haunted instead of creepy or macabre. Let's just thin it out so there's less analysis paralysis. You know what I mean? So we've got pit, castle, battleground, abandoned. Let's just do abandoned theme park. Ah! Y'all put your votes in chat which ones you would want to be the theme for our next damn challenge. For if you're new here and you're wondering what. If we pick haunted, Lalandra, you could make a haunted castle. If we pick castle, you could make a haunted castle. Nothing's stopping you either way. So I would sway your vote based on that. We're splitting them up into separate ones so it's more broad. If we need a tiebreaker, I'll use a vote I'll vote myself, but otherwise, feel free everyone to vote. Mods, community members, new viewers, old viewers, everyone's welcome to vote. Haunted, abandoned, theme park. Sure, why not? But pick one of them. I mean, why not? Someone did like was it Watchtower or was it Rev? I think it was Watchtower that did they're like a negative like tower. The untower is what it was called, right? That was really clever. What was that? I think that's what it was called, right? Why is it not finding it? I mean, I still had the original Nintendo when I went to college too. Granted, the life cycles of the NES and the SNES and the Game Boy were pretty long. But look at this. This is a tower that goes downward. Here, let's open it up so people can check it out before we wrap up. Oh, nice, Lilandra. I bet that was fun. Man, I bet y'all like, because I bet a bunch of cartridges from a bunch of different homes on one unit probably gunked it up. You're constantly doing the whole. You know what I'm talking about? Or pull it out, put it back in, tap it. So it's funny because Nintendo was so ahead of its time. Cartridges were essentially just SSD chips, right? If you think about it, that's pretty cool. Like, it was just a solid state chip with everything in it instead of a hard drive or a disk. And I think that's really interesting. But at the time, the technology was so new and like there were some weird quirks of it. The pins, often, if there was like just a little bit of dust or gunk or anything, they would stop reading. So a lot of people would take their cartridge and just do this like really quick and blow out all the dust and gunk, and then it would work again miraculously. I don't know why that was the case. But yeah, most console games loaded like that, and that's why consoles took a huge lead early on, is because not only were they like graphically on par or better than most PCs of the era, they loaded much quicker. Computers though, man, once like, wasn't it like Doom that kind of changed everything? 3D rendering on computers. Once that happened, it was like an arms race between games. Like Wolfenstein and Doom doing their 3D rendering on a computer was, for a game, was like unheard of at the time. And that was too much for your average console for a while. Consoles basically were kind of in a weird gap where it was like a console every like 5-10 years or more, like 7 to 10 years, maybe even longer. And so they didn't have the like ability to adapt like a home PC would, where people were starting to buy parts and make their own, you know, in the late 90s and like late 80s going into the 90s. It's crazy because Newegg is still around. It's like one of the oldest websites that I remember from my childhood. Like, still like a normal full-fledged business that a lot of people use because it's got its niche. I used to make maps for Counter-Strike back in the day. I didn't make any Doom maps, though. Did you make some, Tropism? I love this concept of a negative tower, by the way, watchtower. Such a unique, brilliant design. Underground castle, underground keep. Why not? Tropism, how you doing, by the way? Welcome back, my friend. Really enjoyed the maps you've been sharing on the workshop the last, I think the last month or two. I remember when you first dropped into the stream and we're asking questions, and now you're making like hella crazy good maps. Jedi Knight maps? Holy cow. So castles ahead. What is the count right now? Atlam, give me the top 3 votes. Top 2 if there's one. I've been wanting to shave my beard for like a couple days now, but I'm gonna keep growing it. So we got that Bob Ross beard. Hoping I should have everything for costume by Wednesday. This right here could easily be used as like a I don't know, like if you used it as like a screensaver or something. Wallpaper, screensaver, either one would work. Wait, what's the 2 plus 3? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Highland Lass. And it seems like you don't really have a choice of the matter, huh? Like it's kind of a rural option or something. Second and third position are a tie. Gotcha. You know what? Let's call it here. Castle looks like it's the clear contender. And you could make a haunted castle if you want, or whatever castle you want. You know, I mean, that's why it's such a cool theme. It's broad. You can make it, you know, a castle and a keep. You could do whatever you want. Alrighty. Stream today. I have to get all the parts set aside and start planning out the build to make sure I have enough space for where I'm going to work for the time I'm going to be doing it. Because it's probably going to take me anywhere from like 4 to 8 hours to build out the piece. I might stream that, but it wouldn't be on this channel. I know, dude. Well, I have some other like RL things I got to take care of too. But yeah, I'm going to start putting it together, but I want to do it all in one sitting so it's done like 1 to 100%. Pretty much. Yeah, unless I can do it in a single sitting, it's a pain because I'll have to leave everything all out. You know what I mean? Anyway, most definitely gonna try and get it done either today or tomorrow. Hopefully can find the time. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed the stream today. Had a lot of fun showcasing your maps. Honestly, it's always a pleasure when we stream and can highlight your amazing builds. Did you submit your map wrong? Oh, what happened? Did I not showcase your map, Jim? Hold on. Let me look here. There's so many maps and I might have missed it. 1 second here. I'm subscribed. Why is it not in my thing? That is weird. Oh, no, there it is. I must have just missed it when we were doing them. My bad. Let's open it up. My bad, Jim. For some reason, I missed your map. I apologize. We still have plenty of time to highlight it, though. My apologies there. You did not. I had it downloaded, and I guess when I was just trying to rush through the last row, I must have missed you. And I apologize for that. It's the 3 hogs instead of the 3 pigs. Hey, what's that? Got hiding over there. Check that out in a minute. My little girl, she had a lovely little dog named Checkers. Boo! Jim, I owe you an apology. I love this little, like, the design of the plants, like the curvature and like the accent of it. Very intentional design and like the pathways and the plants. I had a good president's body, riddled with phlebitis. Dang. Did you carve this by hand or trace something to get this? Very cool. What am I looking at here? Is it just me or do these pigs have like a freaking storm shelter going on here? Or like a fallout shelter? Like they could storm some real weather down here. Fortified retreat. The man cave. Got over here. The wolves den. I like the little wooden kind of deck patio area. Very cozy. The bowling alley is a good choice. Fun. You can attack me for policy, but do not attack me. Yeah, I see here. Escape hatch, or they can go digging underground if they want to. Go rolling in the mud, so to speak. This little harvest over here, like it could be an Ann Geddes photo shoot. Jeez. In an underground bowling alley? Cool. These are butterflies, by the way, not flowers floating over everything. Oh man, putting down all those wood pieces probably took forever. Goodness. You made it into tile, basically. That's clever. It's a good way to express it and explain it for sure. Still life composition. Okay. What are the wings about? We got some Icarus stuff going on here. Yeah, the spiral terrain shaping's great. It makes my my helix cave look like basically damn garbage. Very cool, Chim. Fancy little balcony you got going on here. My eyes are starting. I will check the video out very shortly. I think you all did such fantastic work on this. Absolutely love your maps, and I'm so happy that there was so much like unique. Even if some of the fairy tales were reused or concepts, they were all so unique and interesting in their own way. Honestly, not at one point did I ever feel like, you know, any two maps were very, you know, like closely designed or, you know, ripping each other off or anything. I think everything was quite very like well done and uniquely approached. Congratulations again to Highland Lass. And remember, everyone, our next theme is going to be castle, right? So, update the damn challenge here before we wrap up. Castle. So you have between now and the end of day on the 24th to submit a castle of any shape or size to the Damn Challenge channel in our Discord. Pinned at the top of that channel are some rules that you must adhere to for your entry to qualify. And if you enter and qualify correctly, you have a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card, and your map will be featured in our weekly newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles. Additionally, your map is the first map featured on the damn stream, so it gets a lot of eyes on your work. Now, I just want to reiterate, the damn challenge is completely optional. It's just a fun way to challenge yourself to try and make a map outside of your comfort zone and do it in kind of a time frame, so you have to work on it and get it done within a certain, you know, amount of time. So you put that pressure on yourself to aspire to new heights as a map maker. It really isn't competing with each other as, you know, a community. It's really just about sharing fun ideas, maps, concepts, and of course, like I said, challenging yourself to new heights as a if you're interested in participating, you have between now and end of day on the 24th, which is the Friday, so 11:59 p.m. in your time zone is when you have to submit it to the damn challenge. Thank you everyone again for participating. Honestly, I had such a delight going through all your maps, exploring them, learning all their secrets, and also sharing them with the community. And again, my apologies, Chim, for skipping over yours. I did not mean to. Completely unintentional. Everyone, thank you for being here. Just a quick reminder, our next couple streams. We have a stream on Monday. That is Mapmaker Monday. We're actually not going to be working on the cemetery on Monday. I'm going to be working on a fun themed build for the month, which is Hocus Pocus. So myself and Sack are remastering our Hocus Pocus map that we made for Halloween a couple years ago. And we are going to essentially remaster it now that we have multi-level and roofing. Gonna redesign it. We also got some new source material, including blueprints and set design images and drawings, so we have more like a closer reference to work with. It's going to be very fun, and we're going to mash up both Hocus Pocus 1 and Hocus Pocus 2. The hope is to get this out before Halloween so y'all could use it for your one-shots or whatever. Scooby-Doo, you did just miss me. Where are you? Scooby-Dooby-Doo. But anyway, so we will be back on Monday with Mapmaker Monday, and if you can't catch us then, we'll be back on Wednesday with Office Hours, which is a Discord exclusive. Otherwise, Monday is a multi-stream where we'll be streaming on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Steam simultaneously, just like today. I want to say thank you to all the viewers across all our platforms. So many different people watching today. There's close to 100 people watching across all the platforms at various points today. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you all so very, very much. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and we're going to wrap up the stream, okay? Back out. Bye. Hey, thank you all for being here. Thank you, mods, for taking care of business today in chat, sharing links, and, you know, providing general support. And thank you for all that watched today, whether you're actively chatting or just chilling out, lurking. Each and every one of you, your support is so invaluable to our community, and I appreciate you all so very, very much. We're going to run a quick ad, and we're going to wrap it up, okay? Back out. Bye.
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.
Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Appreciate you so very, very much. I hope you have an amazing weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Back out. Do you mean Vanna White? Is that what you're meaning, Chim? Because, yeah, Atlam was all over it. Hitting those vowels, consonants. All right. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. See you next time I give a damn. Back out. Bye.